Hey guys, welcome to my new video. In this video you are going to be learning how to delete user directly from a WordPress REST API. So in my previous one we learned how to create user and update user and also improve the email or the user role of the user. So in this current video I'm going to be creating this request. So there's a request directly from my previous video. It says how can I delete a user through a REST API. So is what we're going to be doing today. We're going to learn how to do that directly from a REST API. So now first let's check the user we have on our current page. So currently now we have these users here. So we are going to be deleting this user by email. Don't forget, we are going to be deleting this user by email. So to do that, I'm going to open up my Postman and also open up the code editor for this current WordPress project. So open up the editor. So now I'm here. So I'm going to take down this, then go to the WP contents, WP theme, storefront, then go down to where we have the functions.php. Scroll down to the last end. I added the previous function here, but I guess I already deleted the previous one. So let me check my current active theme. So please, you must make sure your current active theme is where you are editing your code. So as you can see, it says storefront. So storefront is the current active theme that I'm editing this code from. So I'm going to go back to it, and over here we're going to create a new class that we can use to delete user by email over here. So now to proceed on creating the class, I'll first open my Postman. So we can access the area that we are going to be doing that. So let me open my Postman. Sorry, let me switch the workspace to my workspace. Then over here I'm going to go to I think we should have WordPress. Where did I save this? I saved it somewhere. Okay, my workspace. Oh, it's not here. Oh, I lost this. I lost the project here. But nevertheless, I'm going to create a new folder for this. So let me create a new collection. This is going to be YouTube. I have it, but I don't know. I lost that part. So let me create a new collection. YouTube WordPress or YouTube WP user. Okay, so YouTube WP user. So over here, and I'm going to be creating an endpoint to delete a user. An endpoint to delete a user. So what I'm going to be accepting here now is a delete request. So I'm going to be accepting a delete request. Then let me rename this to delete user. Okay, save that. So once I save it, the URL is going to be your current URL. So you can just copy everything here, then paste it here and delete the parts. Okay, just stop at where you have WP iPhone, just the hyphen. That you can add JSON. Now once you have your JSON, the part we are going to be declaring now is what we are going to pass here. So we have not declared the part yet. So let's go to VS Code to declare the part. So once you and your current activated theme, which in my own case is storefront, just scroll down to the last end of the file of the functions.php. Once you get to this place, create your file, create your class, because it will be of a good format for you to use a class to initialize an API. So let me zoom my screen so that you can see what I'm typing. So zoom. Let me zoom my screen. I think this is zoomed enough. Yeah. So don't forget functions.php. Okay, so here I'm going to create a class. So class users API. So you can create anything you like. So let me take out this extend and implement interface. Okay, so that part has been deleted. So over here I'm going to create a new method, a method that is going to initialize whenever we run this class. So I'm going to create a new method now, function init. So function init is a method init. So this method is going to be a public method, don't forget. So over here now, I'm going to initialize REST API init. So here we have what? REST API init. This is going to automatically fire up once the WordPress process itself. So once that is fired up, register the route that we want to use. Make sure your route is unique. If you register or you try to register a new route that has been registered by another plugin, it's going to have an issue. So please make sure your route is unique and make sure the path you are passing is also unique. So in my own case, I have added, so I'm going to change this to added user. So added user is the prefix of my own new endpoint. So I passed this version 1 just to make it stand out. So added users version 1, and here we have what? Users. So in my previous video, I actually teach you guys how to get user, update user, and improve the user roles. But in this case now, let's just pass the users. So we are only getting these users only in this current, in this data that we are doing. We are getting the users so we can get the email and also delete them. So here now we have get users. So users has been declared. So above here I'm going to type get users. Okay, so now the next one is going to be delete users. Okay, now here we have delete user. So we are going to be deleting the user using what? Email. Don't forget, we're going to be using email to delete the user. So now for the get user, I'm going to get all the users in my current WordPress database. So I'm going to go to the next method. So go to the next method. So get user is going to get all the user currently on in my database. So this is going to get all the users in my database. Then we for each their entire data, and if you don't want to for each, we can just return the data directly. So we can just return this user directly, but this is done by the GitHub Copilot, which for each what we have already. So I don't want to for each, so I will just take out the for each. I don't need for each. So once we take out that, I'm going to pass directly the array itself, pass directly to the response 200. Awesome. Okay, so once we get this part done, then we're going to go for the delete. So the delete will now be called. So once we call the delete function, we are going to delete by email. Don't forget, we are going to be deleting by email. So now let's take the param as email, not ID. So email is the param. Over here we're going to convert this to email. Then get user by user email. Good. So now this is going to be converted to email. Okay, awesome. Then over here we're going to delete this user what's email. Awesome. So it is just best for you to debug before you process anything. So once we call this delete function, we are going to return the user that we are getting. So let me do return just to confirm we are getting a real user, just to confirm is a user before you process your deletion. Okay, so that will save this. So this is going to return to us. It's not going to delete the user, but first we are going to get all these user. Awesome. So now I'm going to go. So over here now I accept delete as my method. So you don't worry about this what's it called, this parameter that we have here. This parameter is set to accept an ID. So take it out and just pass user. Just user alone is okay. So once you are sending this is going to set as the method. So it's not going to go for any other part area. Okay, so now delete user, and over this part of delete we are going to be sending email. Don't forget. So now for you to debug, I'll also teach you how to debug that part, but first let's get added user users. So copy this part. Let me copy the entire part. So Control C, go to my postman, paste this version 1. Okay, get users. Okay, paste it here. Now let's run this. Okay, it says route not found, and the reason why we have route not found is because we have not called our init method. So let's call this init method down here. So init. Okay, so now initialize. Okay, now if we run this code now, we should get something. Oh, we are still getting an error. Localhost. Okay, WordPress 2. Yes. Okay, let's run it directly from the browser. Let's see. I think we are missing something. It works in my browser. This is strange. So let me copy the entire URL again. Go to Postman. Okay, I run it as a GET request. So imagine this is an error from my own part, human error. This is a GET request for users. We have to REST API endpoints declared. We have the GET users and we have the delete users. So I'm now using these GET users in a delete users area. So sorry, my bad. Okay, so I'm going to change this to GET. Oh wow, this is crazy, man. So now GET users. Let me call this GET users. GET users. Okay, so sorry. Okay, so let me save this. So the color change over here. So I click on save. Okay, that change. So click on what? Send. Let's click on send. Now we have what? We have this data returned for us. So in case you don't want all these level 1, level 10, that is when you will now introduce looping through the data. So if you don't want getting unnecessary requests, unnecessary properties and method, just like what we have here, all caps. What do you want to use all caps to do? You don't need it now. So what you really need here is what? The email of the user and row, and if you really want to use password, you can use password. But this is basically everything you need: ID, name, email, row, and if you need first name and last name, so you can just call this username. I think this just does the best. So call this username. So username is going to take care as user login. So we call this user login. Awesome. Then here we're going to have what? The first name, the first name. Okay, and the what? The last name. I think this is just the basic. This is just the basic things you need. And row, you can loop through all the rows. Yeah, you can loop through all the rows, so that in case you want to check if the user is in an array. Exactly. So now let's pause this and let's see what we get. Let me send this now. We should get something cool. Okay, sorry, I did not return the data that we initialized. We are still getting the user. So let me return the data. So this should make sense. Okay, as you can see, we don't have unnecessary data. So everything is okay. Everything is okay now. Okay, so now we have successfully get user. So let me save this response. So we have it down here. Awesome. So now the next thing we want to do now is to delete a user. So let me create a new request. And this case, this one is going to be the delete user. So this delete user is going to be a delete method. Don't forget. So let me just copy this URL. Okay, delete user. So here is going to be user, not users. Don't forget. As you can see, we have what? User here, not what? User. So now this user is going to be representing the delete method. So I call this delete method under this user/user. Awesome. So now in the user area, I'm going to be sending email as a part, as a param of the data. So the email I'll be sending, let me send simple@gmail.com. So let's search this guy. How many do we have? We have just one. So go to delete area, pass the email down here. Okay, click on send. That should return something. As you can see, we have what? False. So now let's now confirm if we are actually sending a data down to delete method. Are we sending something down here? So now to check that, we are going to be accepting all the requests. Let's return request.getParams. So request then get params. So let's get all the parameter that is coming from there. So get params. Yes, I think this is it. Awesome. So get params. Awesome. So let me just import the WP rest request. Okay, this should print out the definition. Awesome. So now let's return what we are sending. Let's see if we are getting anything. Okay, now we get what? Email. The reason why this guy did not get anything is because we don't have this class initialized. So the class is not initialized, so it's not getting anything. As you can see, oh, I think it's working now. Let me send it again. Oh, it's working. Awesome. So just make sure, just to be on the safer side, please initialize this class WP Rest request and pass it down to what to request variable. That will really save a lot of time. So here now we have what params, and with the params we are sending here is what email. So now let's accept the email and let's see if this email is actually coming in. So now return email that we are getting. So let's delete this part. Return email, send. Did we get anything? Yeah, we are getting the email. Awesome. So now we want to get user by this email because we have someone that is currently using this email. So I get user by user email, but it's not doing anything for us. Let's see, maybe I'm doing some error. Okay, it's email, not user email. It is email directly. So I actually use this prefix user email, not thinking it's email. So let me check the definition. So the definition over here is get the feed to retrieve user by ID slug email. Okay, just email, not user email. Awesome. So now let's return this user before we delete the user. Save and run the code. Let's see. Okay, now we have something. Awesome. So now if you pass a wrong email, what do we get? Do we get anything? So let me pause this. We get what? False. Now that false is what we're not passing here. If user is defined, delete the user. Else return what? False. So now let's not check it out now. Now we return wrong user. Okay, now as you can see, it's returning what? False, which is what? Error 404. Awesome. So now let's now pass the true data. But for us to just make sure we have a good response that is printable, so let's just return an array of the response that we are sending. So over here we're going to what? Say user deleted successfully, which is something readable as a print data. So now here we're going to return what? User what? Not found, so that it's not going to look like something is happening. They don't know, they are just saying false. So now it's not just false anymore. Now we have what? Message being sent down. So here we have what? User not found, and if we pass the real data, it's going to accept the user. So now let me pass this real data. On cut error undefined function WP delete user. So unfortunately we can't delete user by ID. We can only delete user by we can't delete user by email. We can only delete user by ID. So we are going to accept the ID of the user. Okay, then we delete it. So let me click on send. This should delete. It's still not deleting. Why? So let me try to return the user. Return user. Okay, return the user. Let's see the reason why it's not deleting. The user is correct, the ID is true. Yeah, so why are you not deleting? Let's run it again. WP delete what? User. Send. Wow, call to undefined function. Wow, this function is not running. So now let's check Google the reason why this function is not working. So let's go to WordPress directory, scroll down, ID, yes, correct. Okay, and as you can see, there is a require file that needs to be passed. So sorry about that. So now let's pass this require file. So let's pass this require file to ensure this guy is passing the method down to this place. So now the require file is passed, then we can now delete the user by ID. Wow. Okay, so now let me run this code again. Let me run the code on the Postman area. Now click on send. Now this should solve. Oh, amazing. Now it says user was deleted successfully, this email. So now this email, now I'm going to run it on get users area. Let me send this request. Now let's search for it. Now as you can see, no what? Not found. That is amazing. So that's how to delete a user on a real time over your WordPress area. You're not going to find a person anymore. So if you search for it, it's not there. So now let me delete Grace. Grace@gmail.com. As you can see, we have it here. if I passed it down to the param area of the delete user, so let me pass it down here, and I send, and the user is deleted, we can't find the person if we refresh anymore. So if I refresh and search, as you can see, the user is not found. So we have successfully deleted a user from a WordPress REST API. Awesome. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this video. And also don't forget, I created a simple project, movetest.net. Movetest.net is the project. This project basically move your text within the device, and it deletes after 10 minutes. For example, if you type anything here, maybe you are doing something on your mobile phone and you try to just move it down to your PC, to your MacBook. Let's assume I type hello here. Once I type hello, it's automatically going to generate a URL. Then this URL can be copied. It's going to be copied and you can access it anywhere. I mean anywhere. So if I paste it here now, or I paste it on my mobile phone, I can easily copy what I paste here directly to my phone. And if I update this file, okay, guys, copied. So if I update this file is basically going to update real time down to the other side. So I go to the Google browser and I refresh this page just to avoid server eat up. Now, as you can see, it says was guys copied. Awesome. So this is just a simple project that I built for myself. I use this to move text within my Windows PC down to my MacBook. So if you find this project helpful, kindly use the project. And also don't forget to subscribe to our channel. It is very, very important. Subscribe to our channel to get more videos like this. Thank you so much. See you some other time. Bye.